So I think check. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here, and welcome to the live YouTube pre-show. I'm getting a couple things ready here and going from there. We're going to be doing these live pre-shows on YouTube. If you actually go to the website, you won't see as much as you would with the pre-show. And I get to drink a little bit of water and kind of get a couple more things set up. And I think with the YouTube pre-show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about what's going on in my life, kind of like a vlog before the actual show, which you can catch over at Geekazine.com, www.geekazine.com. So, and what I'm going to do this week is during the show, I will explain. This content will actually be part of the pre-show and go from there. So, let's just make sure we've got all our I's crossed and T's dotted. And I'm looking at the preview feed over there, looking pretty good. So, it looks like we are good to go here. A couple quick things. Hey, you can always check everything out. YouTube.com/Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek, and you've got Geekazine. Of course, check it out over at Geekazine.com as well. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend if you celebrated. If you didn't, then you should celebrate. Celebrate anyway, even if Memorial Day is not part of your regular holidays. Celebrate. So I'm gonna put this here. Not really a tech thing, but I think it's important just as well. So I need to redo that one. Let's just do that really quick. Interesting. Oh, that's probably why. No. There we go. And we don't need that. Doesn't make any sense to have that there. I'll hit save, and we'll do that. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. And then we'll go back here. And I think we're ready to go. This is the YouTube pre-show, and I'm going to keep it short here this week. But upcoming weeks, I'll have information. Maybe we'll have a chat back and forth going on and try and get things ready. I'm using some different software here, so hopefully that'll make life go a little bit better here. So I'm just going to check the feed there really quick. That's looking pretty good. Doing the switch. Yep, that's looking pretty good. So this is where I duck out, and then we're going to go straight into the show. So welcome to Geek Smack.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to episode number 264 of Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like Hulu is smacking it out of you. Last year we found out Hulu's gonna sell, and then they decided not to sell, and now they're deciding to sell. There's a lot of suitors out there, so there's gonna be a lot of content. Will we lose Hulu in the end? That's the big question. So we're going to talk about that. We've got a lot more tech news. We've got a lot more geek news on this post-Memorial Day holiday podcast of Geek Smack. So let's get the geek going. It's brought to you by our friends over at Citrix and Wirecast, by Day in Tech History, by Roku. So let's get going with Geek Smack. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages. That didn't do that slide thing. My name is Jeffrey Powers. I'm trying the cuts as opposed to the slides, and I'm trying to figure out how to do one slide to the other. I missed on that. So anyway, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you. I don't know, there's a lot of different news articles that we've got today. Of course, we're going to get into that big time as we go along, and I'm just doing a couple settings here. A couple things here. First of all, we are live on YouTube, youtube.com/Geekazine. You can go there and check it out. Go to the live stream, check out the live stream, and of course, if you go to Geekazine.com, I realized I didn't post it. The live stream will be up there as well. So you'll just go up there and go from there. Now, usually I spend about 6 minutes talking about what's going on in the world. That's where YouTube live events will come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do that first section on YouTube live events. And then I'm just going to start the show and we're going to go straight into the tech news. Maybe give you, programming notes or something like that. Go into the tech news, get about 30 minutes in and then out, and then we'll do a post show over at the YouTube live as it's live streaming. When everything's said and done, then it gets all posted and go from there. I'm going to give you the 6-minute spiel right now, so you know what's going to happen. But next week it's going to go straight into the news, and I'm just going to go head wild into it for the show. But if you want to catch the extras, you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend, even if you don't celebrate Memorial Day weekend. I hope you really, just enjoyed the weather change. Our weather change was rain. We went from cold to cold and rain. So it's still raining today, but the temperatures are supposed to be climbing until we get to nice warm weather, and you'll start to see me perspire on this show next week. Cool. I did play at a thing called Bratfest, and I don't normally do this, but this, Bratfest is a fun event that gets to happen here in Madison over Memorial Day weekend. And I usually play it with the band. We played 2 years. I think we were off a year or two because of other events that we played. And then we were back this year for Bratfest. And we played Sunday right before all the rain started. But this year they had something different. They had lanyards. And I was going, well, it is an event. It's not really a tech event, but it is an event. So should I put it in with the Hall of Lanyards? And I was thinking about it, and I think the answer is yes. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to go down here. Here's the Bratfest logo, the Bratfest lanyard that we get. And with this lanyard, I was able to get free brats all weekend, which I don't normally do. I actually pay for the brats because they go for it to a charity. Here's the band pass. And, of course, we're going to take that band pass and we're going to switch it, and we're going to put it right with the other stuff, all the other shows I participate in over, from CES to South by Southwest. CA World was the last one I went to, and any other events, we'll put it right in there. So it just goes with all the other lanyards, all the other badges that I've got so far. So, all right. Poof, there we go. How you doing? If this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you very, very much. We do this show every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption, and now we're doing it live on youtube.com/Geekazine. And of course, I talked about that last week. If you want to find out more about my thoughts about this whole live stream on YouTube, go over to last week's Geek Smack and check it out towards the 35-minute mark. That's when I start talking about it, so you can fast forward to that point. Oh, hey, I have some personal sad news. I found out last night that a friend of mine, a guy that I've known for many, many years, had passed away. So, and I haven't heard I haven't heard how he passed away. I looked at his profile. I noticed that he was planning to go to Bratfest and see a band yesterday morning. It said that he was there, and then next thing I know, I had a message saying that he had passed away. So his name is James Mo Becker. He's better known as Mo in the Madison community. He was a Madison biker with a local biker club, and it's just really sad to hear a friend of mine, especially one that I haven't seen in a couple of years, pass away. So this one's out to you, Mo. I hope you're getting a seat ready for me up there in heaven or down there if that's where we're going. So Anyway, so thank you very much, Mo, for, if you knew Mo, he was a friend and he was always happy. And so I'm glad to have met him. I'm glad to have known him as a person. So, all right, last thing, this week in Google Glass episode number 3 is out. Myself and Luke Wallace, we recorded the episode last night. We got some great stories. He talks some stories about people that are using Google Glass. We talk about privacy issues, and then of course we're talking about porn in Google Glass. That's how it just degenerated to porn in Google Glass. I don't know why. So, but anyway, check that out over at Geekazine.com, or thisweekingoogle.glass.com is the name of the website. You can also email me, Jeff, at twig, twigg.com, or times.tv, excuse me, or Luke at twigg.tv. That's the website. Thisweekingoogle.glass.com will also get you there as well. All right, let's get into your Tech Smack for this week. All right, and this week it's brought to you by our friends over at where am I? I didn't even load that up. How you doing? It's by our friends over at GoToMeeting, where meeting is believing. And hey, I do a lot of business with people that don't even live in the city that I live in. And I'm trying to find the document here. Hold on a second. I'm organized but yet unorganized today. Which script is that? I think that's it. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Let's start over. How you doing? This week's brought to you by our friends over at GoToMeeting and Citrix, where meeting is believing. Clients and colleagues, they're never in the same city at the same time. They're never, trying to get a meeting. And you want to put a meeting together because you know how successful meetings can be. You get things done. You get things accomplished. I think this is it. You get things accomplished, and you meet with people face to face, and you get things done. Period. I remember, I can't tell you how many times I put together a meeting, and Joe was off on vacation, and Mary was off on a client site, and they couldn't come to the meeting. But if they would have had an internet connection, and if they would have had the laptop like we do today, they could have joined the meeting. They could have been part of the meeting. We could have gotten stuff done. Because the people that we most always meet with aren't always in the same place. We don't always see them every day. Coworkers on the go. To work efficiently today, we need to have a stronger connection to our teams. That's why we use GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It's the powerfully simple way to be online and see each other face to face. With GoToMeeting by Citrix, it's just a click away. You can just turn on the webcam to make sure your online meetings are an HD video conference on your Mac or your PC. You can launch or join a meeting from there. You can join a meeting from your smartphone or tablet, but you can also present from your iPad, and that's pretty cool because there's been a couple times that I've actually presented from my iPad at a coffee shop, at a bar, in my car, and I got the client on, and I showed him what I needed to show him, and we were off and running, and we were both on the same level of understanding, and that's the most important thing. Check it out. Try GoToMeeting free for 30 days for this special offer. Visit gotomeeting.com. That's gotomeeting.com. Click that Try It Free Now button and enter in the promo code podcast. Remember to use the promo code podcast for that 30-day free trial from GoToMeeting, where meeting is believing. All right, let's get back into the news. Now, one thing I'm trying here is actually a brand new thing. I found a program. It is called OneTab. Now, I'm going to show you this really quick. With OneTab, at one time I actually just loaded all the tabs into my Chrome browser, but with OneTab it's gonna load it one at a time, and hopefully things will be a lot faster, a lot easier. Like for instance, this first article over on TheVerge.com. This is where we're gonna start. Chinese hackers apparently have accessed some designs for advanced U.S. weapon systems. This includes the F-35, the drone plane diagrams and schematics. So somebody might have accessed and now has the ability to look over the schematics and maybe even make some drones. So there's a lot of concern over this. Of course, being drones, we don't want that type of information getting leaked out. just like you wouldn't want your information getting leaked out to me and me getting leaked out to you. So they're trying to figure out what happened, how it happened, and go from there. If you want to read more on that, go over to theverge.com. Let's move on from there. Microsoft is going after any Xbox related website, Xbox One related website. Apparently, there are two people out there that have that. There we go. Let's do that. That have Xbox1.com and Xbox1.com that they've already squatted on. And Microsoft says, no, that's not right. They went to Xbox One. It looks like, it's a squatting site, and so Microsoft wants those names taken down. So they're going to go after some of the companies that have already done some squatting on it. I don't know. Should we start a This Week in Xbox One? Too many podcasts. I don't think I'd have that. But I'm curious to see if somebody actually starts doing some Xbox podcasts. So let me know. Let me know out there if you are doing some Xbox podcasts. Geekazine is the Twitter handle. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. And of course, 608-205-4378 is the phone number. All right, I'm going to load up 3 or 4 of these as I go so I don't have to load them up all the time. All right, next article is over on Engadget. Foxconn is feeling the pain of Apple right now as they're slowing down a little bit. So they decided, hey, we're gonna try and do something. We'll switch over here. They're going to be joining up with Firefox OS and showing off some new devices next week. They're also going to create some accessories so they can build up. They can afford their $3 an hour employees. Is that how much they make? It's crazy how much a Foxconn employee. I don't think a Foxconn employee makes that much money, and it's kind of sad. But they need to keep those employees because if Apple comes out with the next best thing like the Apple Watch or whatever, then they'll need those people. So keeping them employed, at least they're trying. I suppose that's a good thing. So if you want to check that out, go over to Engadget.com. Moving on from there, we're going over to VentureBeat.com. You know what? Noise canceling headphones. If you're not sure how they work, basically what happens is you put on the headphones, and then there's microphones that basically create noise cancellation. So it filters out the noise outside, so it doesn't get to your ears, so you have a better experience. And if you use it on a plane, then you don't have to worry or hear too much of the plane cockpit noise, which for some people in their ears can be really painful. So somebody said, well, what would happen if we took that noise canceling technology and kind of redid that and made that for cable, sending out internet signal. So around the shielding, there's some sort of noise cancellation on the outside, so the noise doesn't get in and block or cause any problems. Because with wiring, you can get noise coming in from the outside, whether it be electromagnetic noise, whether it be some other noise here. So basically what they're doing is they're creating this technology, this noise canceling tech. And this is on VentureBeat.com. I don't know if I mentioned that. But basically this noise canceling tech would then wrap around the fiber or the connection, the internet connection that you would use, and it would cancel it out so the actual data can move through faster. Now think of it like a game of Frogger, except in this case the cars kind of slow down or stop for the frog, and then the frog passes through, and then you go from there. The frog is the noise, and it happens a lot. Think of thousands of frogs crossing the street as you're driving. You go, oh, let's slow down because there's a lot of frogs and it might slip. And that's what happens with data. So there's a lot of frogs that are passing by. Well, in this case, it would be noise. And by doing this, it cancels out the noise. So the cars can go faster. And all of a sudden, you have Autobahn on your internet connection. They're predicting it to be 400 times faster than Google Fiber alone. So all of a sudden, with this noise canceling technology, you don't your connections go faster and everything gets better, and all of a sudden we have better internet, and so all of a sudden your 20 megabytes down, 5 megabytes up becomes 100 megabytes down, 20 megabytes up, simply because of the fact that there's this technology around. Love it. I really love it. So if you want to read more on this, go over to venturebeat.com. It's exciting to see what they're doing with noise canceling technology. Speaking of noise canceling technology and hearing, I really didn't realize that I put these two together, but over on TechCrunch, somebody actually 3D printed an earbone. Now you're going, well, that's interesting. Why would I need that? Well, there are some people out there that have hearing problems because the bone that they have calcified, I think that's the word, and so they can't hear. It doesn't have the room for people to actually move the eardrum to move or anything like that. So some people have surgery and it helps their hearing, but some people just have, and they might even not have an ear bone. So what they did at Washington State University is they decided, well, let's make a 3D printed bone and see if this is something that we could actually surgically implant into somebody's ear, customized to the person's ear, and see if this works. So they're giving this a chance. Dr. Suzmos Bozy and Dr. Amit Bandiov, long name that I can't pronounce. They've been wanting to do this. They've been waiting for this technology to actually create this hack. So pretty interesting stuff. If you want to read more on this, go over to techcrunch.com. Going from there over to the Wall Street Journal, BuzzFeed, CNN created a YouTube Plan online video channel, and that's going to be starting soon. And basically, they'll unveil the CNN BuzzFeed, a YouTube-based channel from CNN, which will have archival and current content. So I'm wondering, CNN, you can get CNN if you get your local cable provider. Will that circumvent the cable provider to go to YouTube? Because I'm guessing this is going to be on a subscription model of some sort. And, you pay $100 a year and you've got CNN BuzzFeed on your YouTube channel, which you can watch at any time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, as long as you have an internet connection. So this is pretty interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about TNT and TBS doing the live stream thing. Well, what if they went into YouTube and actually did that as the channel? Would it work, first of all? And would because they show movies and TV shows, would their licensing fees go through the roof? That's the second thing. And then what about commercials? How would that work? Could somebody take a channel off of cable air and put it right into YouTube without any issue? Something to question, something to think about. And I think that's what CNN's kind of working on. So if you want to look at more on that, go over to WSJ.com. We'll have the link in the show notes. So all you have to do is go over to the show notes and go from there. Okay, we've got two more links, and then we're going to get into the next section here. First of all, over on KrebsOnSecurity.com, there's a report that's saying Liberty Reserve founder was arrested. Liberty Reserve founder, his name is Arthur Budovsky Blanchuk. I think I pronounced that right. And he was arrested, and the website itself, Liberty Reserve, was taken down. It's a digital currency website, which gave you a way to pay, kind of like PayPal does. So my understanding, it's completely offline. So if you actually had an account there, you might want to find out if you have to worry about your money. No, I guess there was an update done a little bit earlier today saying that LibertyReserve.com is now resolving again. The homepage was replaced by a notice saying that the domain has been seized. So if you have money with Liberty Reserve, you might want to check it out. I'd never really used it, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But if it affects you, check it out. So go over. We've got the link over at KrebsOnSecurity.com. All right, last part of the first part of TechSmack, and this is over at BGR.com. Nokia says that it's working on its Lytro-like phone that they'll put into their Nokia phone systems. Their Lumina line, to be more specific. So if you've got a Lumina phone, in the next couple, maybe year or two, you might actually be able to take a picture and take the far version and the close version. Now, there was an iPhone app that came out, and I have it on my phone. It wasn't free; it was like $2.99. That actually said that it did a Lytro like effect. But the problem was it took a picture, it focused in near, took the picture, and then focused in far and took the picture. So it wasn't a simultaneous picture. So if somebody was passing by, you would see them over here and then over here as they passed by. So it works, but it doesn't work. It works if you've got a set something that's not going to move. But if there's any movement at all, you'll notice it when the picture is taken, especially if you move the camera and then you go and do the back and forth switching. So interesting stuff. I can't wait to see how Nokia does this. And if they do it, that might be the next type of camera that everybody will want to put into their phone, is a Lytro style camera. So anyway, if you want to read more on that, go over to bgr.com. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does it for the first part of Geek Smack. I hope you had a good time. We're going to talk, of course, we got some more news here, and then we're going to talk about Hulu and what's happening there, and how Hulu could completely change in a few months if somebody was to buy it. So we will be right back on this episode of Geek Smack, and yeah, we'll be right back. And this part of Geek Smacks brought to you by my one of my other podcasts, the Day in Tech History. There it is, right here. I'll give it to you on a platter. Here we go. There you go. Of course, if you're listening, you're going, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, Day in Tech History is a daily rundown of tech history. I've been doing it for 5 years, or not 5 years. Well, I have been doing it for 5 years. The daily version I started in 2009. It started out as This Week in Tech History, and then I changed it to Day in Tech History in August of 2009. Now, a daily rundown of tech history. Like, for instance, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of WordPress. WordPress started in 2003 on May 27th. So happy birthday to WordPress. Today, the GIF standard, it is pronounced GIF, as we found out from a news article a couple weeks ago. The GIF standard was released through AOL. And if you want to find out what happened on This Day in Tech History, full rundown podcast over at www.dayintechhistory.com. Not This Day in Tech History. That's a completely different website. Dayintechhistory.com. Check it all out there. All right, let's get back into the news and then get you on on the main subject here, and that is about Hulu and what's going to happen very, very soon. And I'm debating whether I'm actually going to cancel my Hulu subscription. I'll tell you that right now. So anyway, first of all, let's talk about Samsung. Samsung is set together a June 20th event where they're going to be talking about devices. Let's do it this one. They're going to talk about devices in Android and Windows devices for the Samsung. Of course, they're talking about phones and they're talking about tablets. They're going to be developing some RT tablets, laptops, and hybrids, and they're calling it Samsung Premiere 2013. It's going to kick off 2 p.m. Eastern on June 20th. Now, 2 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be 7 p.m. in London, where that event is actually taking place. So, go over to theverge.com if you want to find more. There's not too much information about it. It's going to be 1 week after WWDC. So we'll see how Samsung kicks up the dust in what Apple announces in just a couple weeks from now. So check it all out over at theverge.com. Excuse me. We're moving on from there. We're going over to boingboing.com. The U.S. entertainment industry put out this big, what they call it, the Commission on the Theft of American Intellectual Property. And they released a report, 84 pages, and in there, they had this little thing here that basically said, hey, we want the ability to actually get some malware, to get some of these ransomware programs so we can test them, so we can use them. So if somebody does use ransomware, if somebody does use some sort of spyware or anything like that, then we can actually counter it. So they're asking in this 84-page document, and they're going, like for instance, this page right here. I'll bring it up here since it's a quote, and it's going. Additionally, software can be written that will allow the only authorized users to open files containing valuable information. If an unauthorized person accesses the information, a range of actions might then occur. Example, a file could be rendered inaccessible and the unauthorized user's computer could be locked down. With instructions on how to contact law enforcement to get the password needed to unlock the account, such measures do not violate existing laws for the use of the internet, yet they serve to blunt attacks and stabilize a cyber incident to provide both time and evidence for law enforcement to become involved. So I'm not for, but it's not a bad idea. It's like, okay, if we find that you're illegally downloading, I don't know, Iron Man 3 or Into Darkness or something like that, we can put in something that'll lock your computer out. When I read this, is like, are you serious? I can understand it, but are you serious? Do you really want to do this? So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that they should get a ransomware, the ability to put ransomware into their software, into their videos and stuff like that? Let me know. Tweet me at Geekazine. We tried all this digital management stuff, and it doesn't work. A lot of people want it gone, and then the digital rights get taken off, and I don't know. There's many sides of the story. As a musician, I don't want somebody to go stealing my music. I want them to pay for my music, or I want them to at least appreciate and let me know that they're listening to my music. So anyway, if you want to read more on that, go over to boingboing.net. Moving on from there, we're going over to Dave Ackerman's website, his blog. He basically took a Raspberry Pi. Here's the webpage. He basically took a Raspberry Pi and he hooked a camera up to it. It's an experimental Raspberry Pi camera. And then he encased it in foam that was shaped like a raspberry. And he sent it up into a balloon. The first one, I guess they lost it in France. But it went a good distance. The second one, they got the information on how they did it, and they've got some really cool stuff. Like for instance, here's a picture right here. Here's a picture of the completed device, and then of course they've got the map data there, and some of the pictures that comes in. Apparently there was a live stream to it or something like that. So pretty interesting stuff. If you want to read more on it, I've got a direct link straight to his blog over at daveackerman.com. Of course, go over to geekazine.com and go to the show notes, and that's where you will find it. Show notes for all of you on YouTube Live. The show notes will be up later today when the video comes out on geekazine.com. All right, over at San Francisco Gate, Florida governor is set to sign the texting while driving ban in Florida. So apparently they didn't want 84-year-olds to text and drive. Governor Rick Scott is set to sign the ban on Tuesday afternoon at a Miami school. Of course, this is for teens and driving, but it's for everybody. So don't text and drive. It's not good anymore. So if you want to read more on that, we've got the link over at San Francisco Gate or sfgate.com. All right, let's move from there. We're going over to tomsguide.com. It's all about Xbox One, and this is an interesting story. You can, if you want, from what I understand on this, you have more than one account on an Xbox One. So let's say I have Jeff 1 and Jeff 2. Jeff 1, I install whatever game. I don't play too much Xbox, so Assassin's Creed, let's say. Let's say there's a new version, Gears of War or Halo or something like that. I install it on Jeff 1. And I want to put it on Jeff 2. I want Jeff 2 to be able to play it as well. Apparently, to get it from one count to another, there's an additional fee that the the shops actually will install. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by shops in the article, but and the fee, they said something like 35 pounds, which came out to $53. So you basically have to pay for the game a second time to put it on a second account. Now, at first I thought it was, oh, okay, I could put it on my account and on my Xbox, and then go from. And if I went over to a friend's house and I wanted to play it, I'd sign in, and then the software would download. But no, this is a second account. So Eurogamer basically classified the ordeal based off of reports from a high-ranking UK industry source. Microsoft hasn't decided what to do yet on the used games front. I think this is what it's about. It was about used games. If I download a game and I want to sell that game after I'm done playing it, like a lot of people do, can they do it? So maybe this was a game-to-game thing. I thought it was an account-to-account thing. So if you want to read more on that, go over to tomsguide.com. You can tell how much of a gamer I am, but I know some of you are very interested in the gaming and the Xbox One. And we're going to try and do a few more articles on Xbox One. And I'll probably eventually get an Xbox One for the entertainment side of it, not as much the gaming. I'll have some games as well. So, but anyway, go over to tomsguide.com. I do have an Xbox 360, but once again, it's for video. That's it. I don't do too much. I don't do too much gaming. So, anyway, let's move on. We're going over to techblog.com. Actually, last article of the of Geeksmack. The costs to own and now in English, costs to own a refurbished iPad 4, actually about 17% less than on regular iPad. So if you want to purchase, and they've got their, there we go. If you want to purchase an iPad, it's somewhere between 15 to 17%. An iPad Mini 16 gigabyte edition can be purchased for $279, 15% less than the iPad Mini. 32 gigabyte Wi-Fi comes at $359, which is 16%. So as you get the higher end model, you'll get more of a discount. So if somebody has a 64 gigabyte Wi-Fi iPad Mini, it's $436 or 17% off. So I've bought refurbished items before. Usually it's like, cracked screen, and then they replace it, or something that's not really, they haven't really done a lot with the iPad. It just didn't work, so they had to reopen it up, fix it, and then send it out. But they can't send it out as new because there was something wrong with it, because somebody bought it and then had to return it. So refurbished iPads and iPad Minis, they could be, if you wanted to save yourself up to 17%, you have this option. And that's over at Webline in India, tech blog at weblineindia.com. That's it, weblineindia.com. All right. Hey, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, what do you think of, would you buy yourself a refurbished iPad 4 or an iPad Mini? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, Geekazine at gmail.com. All right, we will be back. And of course, we're going to talk about Hulu. What's going to happen with Hulu? Because, Hulu's, they've tried to do this before. They're going to try and do it again. But we'll find out. We'll be right back. You are watching Geeksmack over on Geekazine.com and YouTube.com/Geekazine for the live version. All right, and so the featured section is brought to you by our friends over at Roku. Go over to Geekazine.com/Roku to find out how you can get yourself an over-the-top television device starting at $49. Roku 3 at $99. You can play the Angry Birds, and with the remote, you can actually have the Bluetooth headset, so you're not bothering anybody, which is perfect. Like, Jennifer watches TV. I hate to watch TV while in bed. I want to have everything off, but she usually uses the iPad. But what if we set a little TV off to the side with a Roku unit? She plugs in the headphones using the remote, and she could fall asleep to that while I'm falling asleep to peace and quiet. So check it out over at geekazine.com/Roku. And once again, Roku prices start at $49. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages. Last year, rumors basically came out about Hulu being for sale. After a lot of speculation, Hulu basically backed out of it. Now the rumors are back, and some big names are vying in for the online TV and movie website. One of those is Yahoo. Marissa Mayer wants to turn Yahoo back into a portal and thinks that this is going to be something that will help it out with that. This may be well and good, but do we really want Yahoo to run Hulu, given Yahoo's track record? Other companies interested: DirecTV, Time Warner, private equity firms KKR and Company, and Silver Lake Management. Many are expecting bidding to get up to about $800 million if it happens. If Hulu doesn't back out and says we need to sell this thing. The real question is the company worth $800 million? Lots of factors can change when Hulu switches hands. For instance, contracts by NBC, ABC, and Fox, which are partners to this, and I'm guessing they're still going to be partners to this. There'll just be a new partner on the mix. And they supply the website with fresh content daily. And if they decide that they want to change their agreements or even end relationships, how would that affect Hulu? Like, for instance, last week, Jennifer gets into the TV show Hannibal. I watched Hannibal with her, but we didn't watch it until yesterday because the Roku wouldn't play it because it's for web only. The iPad wouldn't play it unless we actually downloaded the NBC app, and then we could watch it there. And then I found that out. But I finally got to a point where I had the computer up and I had it hooked up to the TV. It's like, let's watch Hannibal, and we did so. Now, these are the factors that we have to be concerned about, and the value of Hulu could dramatically decrease simply if one of these networks ends up dropping out or changing their rules. Like, for instance, all of their top 25% of their shows don't show up on Hulu for a week or a month, or they decide not to, or they decide to bring in older content instead of fresher content. Now, if DirecTV purchases Hulu, could they move Hulu in-house? And that's the bigger question to ask. I really don't want to get a DirecTV subscription to finally get Hulu Plus or Hulu. I don't think that'll really happen, but there is always a possibility there. I pay $8 a month so I can watch Hulu on my Roku. I think it's fair since I can watch last night's TV episodes. Like, for instance, I haven't watched Revolution yet. I'm going to watch last night's episode probably a little bit later today. If that was to change dramatically, I think I'd most likely drop the service, just like I dropped Netflix, because I never really got, I was never on the service. And I finally said, why am I paying for a service that I don't use? And I have a feeling that that could happen with Hulu. And then all of a sudden they lost my business and everybody else's business. Then again, Hulu could just flip-flop and say they're not for sale again. That's always possible. What do you think? Do you think that DirecTV should buy? Do you think that Yahoo should buy Hulu? Who would be the best person to own Hulu? Or do you think that Hulu should keep their stuff and try and figure out to make more money, because apparently they're not doing too well? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. And then the hotline, the voice hotline, 608-205-4378. You can always call me, talk to me, say hi. If you want to be part of the shows that we're doing over at Geekazine, let me know, and go from there. Because I can always use help. With this YouTube live now happening, it's like one-man shop. It's really kind of stretching me thin. And I've got to figure out another computer to actually put into my podcast mix, because I'm using too many machines too hard as I go. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for coming to the show. Thank you very much for watching the show. Contact me at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com if you have any questions. We will see you next week when it will be another episode of Geek Smack, and I'll be here smacking the geek out just like I always do. You guys geek out, and we'll see you next week on Geek Smack. If you're on YouTube, /Geekazine watching the live, we're going to go and we will be back and we'll do some outro. But for everybody else, thanks a lot for watching and take care. All right, and that's the regular show for the week. I'm gonna see if I can find what we've got for watchers. our video viewers, or whatever you want to call it. I hope there wasn't any problems. Of course, if you saw any problems, let me know. This video will be available straight up on YouTube once this is done, and then the regular version will be out a little bit later today. So it looks like we have one person watching live now. I'm not sure who that is. It doesn't look like I can call that up. But thanks for everybody that did watch and is watching, and go from there. So I'm gonna set up a chat so you guys can, so I know who's on and be part of the show, and go from there. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you next week. We'll try and do this at the same time next week, 1 p.m. Eastern. And feel free to bring your friends. Feel free to tweet it. Geekazine is my Twitter handle, and geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. So thanks again, and you guys take care. See ya.